You must not be treacherous to your party or its leadership. You must not be disloyal to your party and its leadership. Now, taking all the allegations against Blessed Gesa, which are all in the public purview, the Politburo, on the recommendation of the National Disciplinary Committee, the Politburo endorsed the recommendation from the National Disciplinary Committee that Blessed Gesa should be expelled from ZANU-PF with immediate effect. As you are aware, he was a member of the Central Committee, and that calls for even higher obligations to the success and unity of the party. He was also, as you may also be aware, a war veteran. So he's not someone who can, he's someone who should have believed and know from the outset the danger of his utterances and the consequences of his utterances. He didn't pay heed for whatever reason, and of course, we have taken a decision that he be expelled from ZANU-PF. The next matter which the National Disciplinary Committee deliberated, and this decision was endorsed by the Politburo yesterday, and West. The charges against him were fomenting factionalism within the party and also using a WhatsApp group named Revolutionary Cadres to undermine the leadership of the President and First Secretary, Dr. You can see that from the name it was intended, obviously, to appeal to members of the party, because as a revolutionary party, the mere mention of revolutionary, you go and read what revolution is all about, only to be encountered by factionalism which is being fight. He was also accused of spreading falsehoods and engaging in succession debates which were basically undermining the unity and cohesion of the party. This comrade was not even repentant, and we consider that his prospects for reformation were non-existent. So the National Disciplinary Committee recommended, also accepting the recommendation from Marsh West Province, as well as from Jima District Coordinating Committee. We recommended, the Politburo endorsed that Comrade Gifford Gomwe should be expelled from the party. There were numerous cases of discipline from Mashuga Province. The first that we considered were charges against Roy Bila, who is a member of parliament for Chirezi North. The National Disciplinary Committee found that there was no basis on all the charges, and therefore it exonerated and found him not guilty, that is Roy Bila, from any charges which were leveled against him. The next matter is Benjamin Ganiwa. The charges against him were that he sought unconstitutionally to remove 6 district chairpersons from their position. This, of course, has been reinstated by the province, but this was in violation of Section 549, subsection 11 of the party constitution. He was also accused of funding factionalism and undermining party leadership by engaging in factional activities such as holding secretive and unauthorized meetings where he allegedly criticized the president. He was also accused of running WhatsApp group. I'll come to this WhatsApp menace later at the conclusion of my statement. He was also running a WhatsApp group that criticized party leadership. The verdict was that he be expelled from the party. And this means Comrade Ganiwa is a member of parliament for Gutu East. This means that he will be recalled from parliament, and there would have to be a by-election in Gutu East. The GCC secretary for people with disabilities. The charges against him were, firstly, formation of a WhatsApp group to denigrate party leaders, disrupting DCC meetings, spreading and propagating falsehoods on an international platform. We won't say which one, but that was in violation of Section 549, subsection 10 of our Constitution. The verdict of the political on the recommendation of the National Disciplinary Committee is that he should be expelled from the party. That is Kudakwashe Gopo. Then also from Mashugo was Jonathan Shoniwa. There was, in this case, I won't even mention what the charges are, but there was a procedural irregularity in that the province had sought to try, when in fact it was the responsibility of the obligation of the branch. But in this case, the National Disciplinary Committee has decided to take over and to become a disciplinary committee of first instance. So he's going to be summoned to the National Disciplinary Committee here in Harare and tried here. The same will apply to Felix Bangu, who was accused of assaulting a district chairman, impeding the functioning of the district organ. He is also going to, the NDC is going to take charge, and he will be summoned to appear before the NDC to face the allegations against him. The next matter is Brighton Mushekwa, who is the DCC Youth Affairs representative for Bikita district. The charges against him: formation of a rogue WhatsApp group, creating and managing an unauthorized WhatsApp group that criticizes party leadership in the presidium. I need to point out here that there is no problem about criticizing party leadership, but there are procedures to follow. You can actually, whenever you think you've got bad things about any leader, you can go to him, including the president. You can ask for audience with the president and tell him what you think or what the people are saying about him. But you cannot, as a party member, go to a top of a hill to tell and to say what you have heard in the street, which in most cases is unsubstantiated and false. So he is facing those charges, and the province recommended, the NDC accepted, and Politburo also accepted that he be suspended from his position as DCC Youth Affairs Secretary but that he should remain allowed to remain a card-carrying member. I think I'm correct. For 3 years. The suspension is for 3 years from holding any party position. Holding any party position. So there is removal from the position. Then suspension, you cannot hold any party position for 3 years, but you must remain, you can remain a card-carrying member. Then from also Mashingo Kalisto Bangu, this matter also where he was facing a lot of charges, the National Disciplinary Committee is going to take charge and call him for a disciplinary hearing here at party headquarters. The next one is Comrade Israel Luna, a provincial member from Mashingo. The charges were basically, when we looked at the charges and the counter charges, the National Disciplinary Committee was satisfied that it's a matter better resolved by referring it to a conflict resolution committee. In other words, we felt that the issues arising were too much interpersonal and nothing to do with the party. So we recommended, and the Politburo is accepted, that this matter be referred to a conflict resolution committee, which comes under the commissariat department, under the National Political Commissar, Comrade Machacha here. So that is the fate of Comrade Israel Luna. The next one is also handled in a similar fashion, is Comrade Levi Gumbo, who is DCC Secretary for Youth Affairs, which is, again, for the same reasons, we found that what was arising in terms of allegations, counter-allegations, were more of a personal discord among people of different characters, that it requires that we refer it to the Conflict Resolution Committee. So we made a recommendation to the Politburo, and the recommendation was accepted. The next matter was Kenya's Diki, who is the Zaka DCC Secretary for Finance. We declined to hear this matter, and we basically absolved him from any jurisdiction by the party over the discipline, because this matter was to do with matters that should fairly come before traditional courts. Traditional, those are, so we refer it to the jurisdiction of the traditional court. It's not a matter properly before any of our disciplinary orders. It's not our responsibility, it's not under our jurisdiction. The next also from Mashingo is Ward 4 Councillor, Kilenzi District, Rapson Mashulani. The charges he faced were insubordination for even refusing to appear before disciplinary committee. You know, these structures are meant to be real structures. You cannot choose to appear or not to appear. So for that reason, we recommended that he be suspended for 3 years from his position as Ward 4 Councillor, which means a recall from the council. A recall as councillor. He will of course remain a card-carrying member of the party, but will not be allowed to seek any position for the next 3 years. Then come the Harare province cases. There were quite many. The first one whom, as you may know, is the provincial political commissar coming under the national political commissar. Zvino kana uri commissar ukatorasa gwara warirasa, ndio unofanira kuti wabwese wapinde mugwara. Zvino ukatanga warasika iwewe vazhinji vacharasika pamusana pako. Anyway, there are many charges against him, and which include manipulating primary elections to influence outcomes in favor of people whom he considered his associates, soliciting a bribe in order to manipulate, in exchange for manipulating a primary election in someone's favor, and the name is mentioned, and that person basically is given a letter to say, yes, I was sought a bribe, I refused, in the elections that took place in 2023. Sowing factionalism and provoking disunity, abuse of office, and of course corruption, and so on. The recommendation of the Harare Provincial Discipline Committee was a suspension for 2 years, that's from holding office for 2 years, but we accepted it, but the Politburo amended it to 3 years. So the verdict against Comrade Jamson is that he is removed from his position as provincial political commissar. He cannot hold office in ZANU-PF structures for the next 3 years, but he remains a card-carrying member. The next one was Godwin Gomwe. Again, the charges were undermining the authority of the party and fighting factionalism in violation of the sections which I mentioned, section 549, subsection 6, engaging in factional activities in division, West launching a scathing attack on the President and First Secretary, conduct which we deem grossly indisciplined and a violation of the party's principles. The province has recommended a suspension, but the decision we took yesterday in the Politburo is that he be expelled from ZANU-PF. So Comrade Gomwe stands expelled from ZANU-PF. Victor Manungo, administering, those are the charges, administering a social media group which was antagonistic to the party's agenda and ethos, personally attacking the president in First Sector on social media in violation of the section 549, publishing divisive videos falsely alleging discord within the presidium, deliberately disseminating false information to create disharmony within the party. All this in contravention of the sections which I have already mentioned. The province had been lenient to him and had imposed a sentence of suspension for 3 years, but the Politburo and the MTC found this was a serious offense which required expulsion. So he stands expelled from ZANU-PF with immediate effect. Then Lamed Chimanyiwa, the charge against him is engaging in factional activities and division. The province had imposed a 3-year suspension. The National Discipline Committee reduced it to 1 year suspension, and this was accepted by the Politburo. So Lamek Chimanyiwa stands suspended from holding any party position in ZANU-PF for 1 year. Comrade Charles Matsika, authorizing and distributing false and misleading material on social media. Again, the province had imposed 2 year suspension. The National Disciplinary Committee reduced it to 1 year, and the recommendation of the National Disciplinary Committee was accepted by the Politburo. So he stands suspended from holding any position in ZANU-PF for 1 year, but you remain a card-carrying member. Karen Maindahama, posting to bring Harare province to the correct line. Harare province is a whole. So there are cases where we felt charges should have been brought, but we are not brought, and we are going to pursue those as we go. Then, lastly, 2 cases. Ratizo Mkarati, as you may be aware, she was charged with funding factionalism, and the Provincial Disciplinary Committee had issued a prohibition order against me. When the issue came to the National Disciplinary Committee, we felt that this was a matter that should properly be resolved by the Women's League, which, as you know, is chaired by Comrade Chinamasa. So we referred this matter to the Women's League, which has in turn resolved it by demoting Comrade Mkarati to a position to be decided on by the relevant organ. I take it that this relevant organ is the provincial district, provincial women's league. They will give her a position there, but she's no longer the chairwoman of the Harare Women's League. Lastly, the case from Manicaland, Comrade Happiness Nyakwezwa. You may recall that this matter came before the National Disciplinary Committee a long time ago. I was then not even a member of that committee. And the matter was referred by the National Disciplinary Committee to the Politburo, which decided to reduce the suspension period of the National Disciplinary Committee from 3 years to 2 years. She then sought to appeal, and what we said as the National Disciplinary Committee was that the right of appeal is rightly a constitutional right. But from the National Disciplinary Committee, it will go to the ad hoc Appeals Court of Congress in terms of Section 533, subsection 3 of our party constitution. This concludes